Say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, members and guests. We're here to honor several people tonight, and we will get to them soon, but we're going to let you have dinner first. I do want to do a few introductions. First of all, my Vice President, who's still busy working over there, Amy House. Secretary, Tim Gagno. Taking pictures. Everybody's busy. Our great treasurer, Jeannie Bush, she couldn't be with us tonight. Trustee number 1, Steve Walter. Steve. Trustee number 2, Karen Pepper, couldn't be with us tonight. Trustee number 3, Heather Van Alphen, couldn't be here. Sergeant at Arms, Mike Horn. Our greeter is still in Florida, Ella Blixt. Past President, Todd Castine, where did he go? There's Todd. And our Vice President for Publicity, Deborah Winter, Deb. And I'm your President, Linda Gagnon-Horn. I need to thank all these people for the wonderful job they've done pulling this together, for the wonderful job they do in service to you all year. And I'd like to give them all a round of applause, please. Those of you who are members know the patriotic things we do, not the least of which is providing American flags. Proud to tell you the flag you see here was presented to the Knights of Columbus. So I encourage anyone who has a civic group, a non-for-profit that needs a flag, to contact your lodge members, your lodge officers. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you our current jurisdictional president, Doris Sullivan.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you very much for coming. I just want to say that hard work is definitely the key to success, and you certainly have shown this to everyone today. If it wasn't for your efforts, hard work, and dedication, this result wouldn't have been possible. Thank you for giving so much of your time and energy, and you certainly have earned this award. I remember when I first met Gordy. It was many years ago when he was working at the radio station. I was in trouble because I was doing a skit for Big Brothers and Big Sisters at the Keysville Elks Lodge. And I called Gordy and I said, Gordy, I'm in trouble. I'm looking for this tape and I can't find it. Do you have any suggestions? And he said, well, I'll see what I can do. The next day he called me up and he said, Doris, come up. He said, I made a tape for you and it's just what you need. So I went up and I really, really appreciated it. So I never forgot the good, kind deed Gordy had done for me. Again, I want to congratulate every single one of you for this very well-deserved award that you're all going to receive tonight. Thank you again for inviting me and have a good evening.
It's also my pleasure to introduce our past jurisdictional president, Donna Zabrowski. Donna?
Well, as always, we join hands, we love each other, we really give. But the motto of tonight's dinner is living through life. And I gotta tell you, Woodman has been with me through my life. And those that haven't heard my story will probably before you end up leaving, but this is my family now. And once you get to know Woodman as Woodman, it really is. So take a minute and talk to our representatives. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce a new member of our family, our Woodman Camp Director, Adam Pelletier.
Hi everybody, like Linda said, I'm Adam Pelletier. I'm the camp director for Camp Woodman. We're located right across the lake over on Isle of Lamont, and we're running for a couple weeks this summer, and we're looking to have a new community and do not just summer camp, because summer camp is an experience that everyone should get a chance to experience, because it's something that you can't have anywhere else. You can't have 70 kids and 20 adults together from all walks of life on a location like Lake Champlain, anywhere else in the world. If you're interested in being involved, please come find me at some point tonight. I'm more than happy to talk to you about our camp, any camp. I'm really an advocate for summer camp in general. It made me who I am today, and I just want to thank Woodman for accepting me into their family, and I look forward to getting to know all of you a lot better. So, thank you.
Now I'm pleased to introduce our field force area managers. As most of you know, we are fraternal, but we also have a field force. And Dale Gaia and Tim, are you coming up together? Or?
Okay, I'd like to announce the field force. Our newest representative is Joan Renadette. Stand up, Joan. She's working to the right, Bob Cole from Bob Cole from Vermont. And Tim Daniel, who works in my office now and keeps me straight and narrow. So. Somebody's got to. And then tonight we have Mike Bushy that works this area, but he's not with us tonight. He's on vacation. David Rabbit. David Rabbit works this our country till he's on vacation. So, thank you very much.
The jurisdiction currently has a huge membership drive going on, so everyone interested in being a member or referring people to great prizes. You can see Dale and Tim if you need some more information. Now, Father, I'm pleased to introduce the pastor for St. Mary's in Champlain, Father James Delpo.
Almighty Father, we thank you for all the blessings that you have brought to our community through Woodsman. We ask you also, and thank you for all the blessings you have brought to our community through Cordy Little. We ask you to bless this assembly tonight and bless this food which we are all about to partake from your bounty. We ask all of these things in your name. Amen. Amen.
We want to thank the Knights of Columbus for preparing this wonderful meal for us. Mr. James Fabro is going to be our maitre d' this evening. He will come to your table and have you go up in order. We ask that you not go until Mr. Fabro gives you the okay. Thank you. You also need to indicate, we asked you for your meal choice. So when you get up there to the server tonight who served us, fabulous meal. I just want to announce that on April 15th, this weekend, the Knights of Columbus here will be celebrating their 60th anniversary. 60 years of service to their community and their God. Thank you very much, Knights of Columbus. Are we ready to begin our awards? Before we start with the program, we missed one thing that I must announce, and it's with pride, and don't let anybody tell you anything different, because you'll hear this disputed later. But this year's Field Fraternal Excellence Award went to Tim Gagno, my brother. Our community outreach coordinator sent me the speech that she gave while she presented that award. And she said it goes to someone who shows commitment and dedication to the fraternal program. He's actively involved in 2 of our lodges and serves as secretary for both. Of course, that includes Lodge 462. His lodges participate in several community events, such as the Relay for Life and other local fundraisers. He spent countless hours ensuring that his lodge events are well publicized for his members and in the community. He takes all the photos at lodge events for use in his lodge's scrapbooks, Facebook pages, which of course he put together for us, and the Woodman Living magazine. And it's with great pleasure that she presented that award to Area Manager Tim Gagno. Tim, you have any words? No? All right, everybody, Tim Gagno. As I said before, Woodman is a family, and I give great pleasure in announcing the Fraternal Spirit Award this year goes to Amy House. And to do that presentation, we've got Dale Walter, who's been her sidekick for many years. We were all worried several months ago when we saw Amy show up bald, and we all thought, oh my gosh, it's the worst. But knowing Amy, we should have known better. She shaved her hair for a friend to raise money, and she's just always out there. So again, Amy, thank you for everything you do for us. Aristotle once said, good habits formed at youth make all the difference. And Benjamin Disraeli said, the youth of a nation are the trustees of posterity. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, with the youth we have in the room that we're honoring with our Community Spirit Award, our Community Partner Award, are some wonderful members of our Chazy Key Club. For those who don't know, Key Club is part of the Kiwanis family, and our lodge has joined a partnership to help serve the children in the world and to help keep their youth leadership programs going strong. And I would like to present Steve Cross, the advisor to our Chazy Community Partners.
Linda called me earlier in the fall and said, do you have any kids that want to help out Women of the World? And I said, that'd be great, because Key Club is very important when serving the community and all of the events. And I want to thank Linda a lot, because the kids had a good time, and Chazy kids are amazing. As the 20-year U.S. Navy CB Iraqi war vet, I can tell you that when I give these two kids a job, they get it done. And they're just great kids. And I want to introduce Mitchell Ayer, my president of Key Club, and Olivia Seymour, my vice president.
My name is Mitchell Ayer. I'm a junior at Chazy, and this is Olivia. She's a senior. I'm president of Key Club. She's the vice president. Key Club at Chazy is a group of over 50 dedicated students who have worked throughout the year to volunteer for our community and provide service. We would like to thank the Women of the World for recognizing our hard work. I would also like to take this opportunity to ask members of the community if, for any reason, if they need volunteers or a group who are willing to provide service, the Chazy Key Club is more than willing to volunteer and help out. Thank you very much.
The award reads, we don't accomplish anything in this world alone, and whatever happened is the result of the whole. Thank you. You were asked to participate in a 50-50 tonight. Also, your admission ticket to this dinner was to be a donation to the food shelf, or $5. It was a non-perishable item of $5. I'm very pleased, first of all, to tell you that we are dividing that food this evening between Chazy, Champlain, and Altona, the primary groups that are members of our club. And we have two of the outreach coordinators here to accept that, Julie Bouchard and our own Dale Ann Walter. Please come up. In addition to the boxes of food we have $135 to be divided between the three shows. This is yours. And I'll ask Julie, if you would. Dig deep. Dig deep. 782-199. I think they went home. Got it? Come on down. $135. That's it. Congratulations.
That goes back to the KC, Ron.
You got it.
Really didn't want to talk, but come over here. I just started at Shazy Outreach at the end of June, and I wanted to do something different to serve my community, but I actually get paid for it, which is kind of nice. We don't get a lot of money, but we share, especially myself, I just love the people in our community, and I'm building it up because I'll be there someday, and if I need help, I hope it's still there. And Julie, you've been with Shazy, or
I've been with Shazy, or Champlain for 3 months, and I serve Ross Point and Champlain. And I serve about 30 to 50 families just at the food pantry a month. And I'm only open half a day. I could be open the whole day.
But anyway, thank you for your donation. We
Yes, thank
appreciate
you.
it.
John Kennedy said in a free society, you cannot help the many who are poor. If you can't help the many who are not poor, you cannot save the few who are rich. And Robert Kennedy said, I believe that as long there is plenty, then poverty is evil. You've all tonight helped to stem some of that evil and help make us a better society just by helping our poor. Thank you very, very much for your donations. Here's an award that's near and dear to my heart. It's been said that the only man whose troubles are all behind him is a school bus driver. I did find this bus driver's prayer. Please, Lord, watch me this day. Please help me remember to watch all 5 mirrors, 2 dozen windows, 8 gauges, 6 warning lights, 6 dozen faces, 3 lanes of traffic, and to keep a third eye open for wobbling bicycles and daydreaming pedestrians, especially teenagers wearing headsets who are in another world. Please, Lord, help me hear all train whistles, truck and automobile horns, police sirens, and the 2-way radio. Please also help me hear when one of my students calls for me and just needs a listening ear. Please, Lord, give me a hand for the gear lever, the steering wheel, the route book, the radio microphone, and the turn signal lever, while being able to hand out Kleenexes, pencils, or other things that kids may need. And Lord, please grant me self-control to keep my hands away from Johnny's neck when he's pitching and biting Billy, while trying to keep everybody in their seat and reminding them that sticking their head outside the window is not safe. And one more thing, dear Lord, please don't let me hurt and be sick all over the bus. And finally, Lord, please watch over us all that we can do it all again. Thank you. The bus drivers we are honoring tonight are from the 4 districts that are covered by our Lodge 462. Our first is Carol Provost, Beekman Town Central School, 25 years. And how many years do you actually have driving? We only have kids in 5-year.
Right, with subbing and all? 30.
30 years sitting there. Next, we have Carl Orr from Northern Adirondack. Scott Gagnon from Northeastern Clinton Central School. We're giving him a 15-year pin for 17 years of service. For 8 years of service, a 5-year pin from Shazy. Thank you. We now move on to our Caring for Others Award. We're very pleased to present it to 2 people this year. First, I'm going to ask Todd Kastner to come up and tell us about Kent Faust, our first recipient. Alphabetically, these are alphabetically.
All right, well, for those of you who know me and Bob, nothing about how much I'm going to stand up here and talk. A couple of things I want to mention first. We've had our camp board, or camp corporation board meeting. We've had a few meetings so far this year. And on June 23rd, it's going to be our annual camp cleanup day. So if you can, make sure you contact either myself, Tim Gagnon, Linda, or Adam Pelletier. We need a lot of help this year. We've got one building that has actually come down that we weren't able to address last year, and we need to get that building taken apart and out of the way so that it's not as much of a safety risk this year. We were fortunate last year, this past summer, after the brothers came in and spent the time that they spent at camp, they actually went through and refurbished a couple of the buildings. They rebuilt some of the porches. They went through and redid a good portion of one of the buildings that we weren't currently using. And we've had a lot of very positive things happen from that perspective. We've also taken into consideration that there are still things that we want to do with the camp. And so we will very soon be starting a capital campaign to raise some funds to help improve the dining facilities and some other things. So I just want to bring that to your attention. And lastly, our Joint Hands Day activity is going to be occurring May 5th. And in that activity, we're actually going to be putting together raised garden beds for the Rosses Point Elementary School. All right? And so there was a sign-up sheet. I'm just going to turn this around to the tables. If anyone wants to participate in that activity, please put your name, your telephone number, and maybe an email address on there so that I've got some contacts. We'd like to have the activity go very well this year. We'd like to get in there. We're going to start around 9 or 9:30 in the morning on the 5th, and then have the activity done by the end of the day. So I think that's a worthwhile project. It's something that the school has specifically asked for, and it's going to be something that's going to carry on from year to year for the kids. So I think it's going to be a good project. So there's a couple of things that I wanted to bring up. Oh, sure. One other thing that Linda just asked me to bring up is that from the jurisdiction, okay, the Woodmen of the World Jurisdictional Organization, we've actually purchased 2 portable grills that you can put up to the back of a vehicle, all right? And what's great about these is that we can use them at any of the activities that we've got set up and planned. So we can serve food. We can also use it for assistance. So if you've got some sort of an emergency or something that's going on, like what happened over in Vermont this past year with the flooding, or what's happened with us over on this side of the lake up the interstate, and we had part of the interstate washing out, or anything that's going on with some of the larger, natural disaster types of things that occurred. Woodmen can be there to help serve food to the volunteers that are there. Literally, all we have to do is go pick up the grill because they're located here centrally for us. Hook it up to the back of the vehicle, make sure we've got some gas, and we can start serving food for them. So I think it's a very good thing. So just so that you're aware, the member perspective, if that's something that we can do for the community as well. So, and if we have members who like to grill and want to help out, give us a call, okay? We need a grill team. So, all right. My purpose for being up here this evening is a very small part of the organization, but to me it's a very big thing. It's to present one of our caring awards. I end up calling it the Community Helper Award quite often, but a few years ago, I think it's going on 4 years ago, I tend to do a lot of public speaking. I do a lot of presenting for a variety of different things. And I had this gentleman show up in one of my presentations. Never seen him before. Thought he was just a parent, or maybe a child with some disabilities that had come to listen to one of my presentations. And afterward, he comes up and he introduces himself. And he says, "Hi, my name's Kent, and I'm trying to put together a conference for the first time, and it's going to be for people with special needs, and how EMS providers can be better prepared to meet their needs." And he said, "I think it would be good if we could get you to come and maybe talk with some of the EMS providers, and maybe we can figure out some different ways to get other people to come talk on the topic." And that was 4 years ago, right? 3 years, 4 years? 5 years, somewhere. Yeah, because it took a little while to get it started. But every year since then, this man under his own volition has put this together because he recognized that it is a need, okay? And that is truly, from my perspective, a true community helper, someone who cares for others and does what I've kind of tried to coin as what I like to talk about. Why do we do it? Well, because it's the right thing to do. That's why we're involved in the activities that we get involved in. And so, every year for the last 4 years now, I've kind of been there on those Saturdays when Kent's there doing the last part, which is probably the easiest part, is just watching the presentation unfold. But he gets people together from as far away as Montreal. They come down from Chester, from up past, getting closer to Glens Falls. How many counties have we had come and actually participate in this conference?
21 different fire agencies.
So 21 different fire agencies. These are guys that are coming, getting together on their time, updating their training, but learning about special populations. So this might be someone who has diabetes that has special needs. Maybe it's somebody who has tracheostomy. He's had me do presentations on people with developmental disabilities and how you might carry out search and rescue types of things for people on the autism spectrum. So that is a huge, huge undertaking. And I don't think that people actually understand what it takes to get the number of people together, the number of presenters that this man pulls together every year. And he pulls off something that is it's pretty much getting to be very well known as a quality way to receive some good training for EMS providers. So for that reason, I want to invite Kent Foss up here to get the award for his Caring for Others award for Woodmen of the World.
The Caring for Other Award carries a quote from Albert Schweitzer: "One person can and does make a difference." Can you made a difference? Thank you. Okay, I got a quiz right now. How many people here know who Dale Evans was? Oh, we're eating this group. Okay. Dale Evans once said, "Christmas, my child, is love in action. Every time we love, every time we give, it's Christmas." The next recipient of our Caring for Others Award is Alice Heckard. Alice, for many, many years, has headed the Christmas Bureau, and I'm going to make this easy for myself, Alice. I found out that Plattsburgh had an Alice Heckard Day, and they had a proclamation. So I'm going to read that proclamation to you. Alice has devoted much of her life as a volunteer for various community organizations, is a long-standing member of St. Peter's Parish and has served as trustee, works for the Soup Kitchen, serving weekly meals to needy families, and assists with the annual St. Peter's Bazaar. And whereas Alice's most important contribution to our area has been her long-time service as a volunteer with the Clinton County Christmas Bureau. She served as program coordinator for over 14 years and has ensured that needy children and their families have a true Christmas. Whereas in the year 2004, she was recipient of the Harriet Tubman Award in Albany, New York, for her humanitarian work and achievements. And whereas Alice receives no compensation for coordinating the Clinton County Christmas Bureau, just the joy of knowing needy families and their children will hopefully have a true Christmas. Now, Alice was once asked, "Why do you do this?" She says, "All year these children get hand-me-downs, etc. Christmas should be one time to receive something new, a toy, a doll, a truck, a jacket, a book, etc. This is one way I can make it happen." Ladies and gentlemen, our other caring person, Alice Heckard.
Thank the Woodman for this award, but I'd like everybody to know that this award belongs to all of my volunteers. I have about 20 or 25 people who are in there every day with me, and if I were not there, they could do whatever the Christmas Bureau needs to do, as Dan Lane could tell you. We're always happy to be recognized for what we do, and this is extra special. I also thank you for your support over the years, and thank you very much.
Robert Kennedy once said, "Few will have the greatness to bend history itself, but each of us can work to change a small portion of events, and in the total of all those acts will be written the history of this generation." Everyone who's received an award here this evening has certainly made a mark on history, and we thank them all, as you all can do as part of our Woodman family. This next gentleman, I haven't known long enough to be worthy of giving the induction to. So we've got two people who have a few things to say. First of all, Calvin Castine will introduce our testimonial community, our leader testimonial person who will deliver that testimonial. Calvin, before I mess this up anymore, come on up.
Linda and I are not the same height, so Linda and I have actually spent a lot of good times together. Both worked for the Woodman for a while, and that long, lonely drive to Albany has been a long trivial pursuit, and we battle each other all the way to Albany and all the way back, and it made time go by real fast. I'm going to introduce Keith Urkel in a minute, but I did ask Linda if I could say a few things. And before you get too excited here, Gordy, I want you to know that the recipient of this award 2 years ago was Chris Trombley, and now he's waiting on tables here. 2 years ago he was something, and now he's messed it up. I shouldn't go without mentioning last year's recipient, John Paul Tatro, especially being here in the Knights of Columbus, because this was certainly his second home, and if John were still with us, I'm sure he'd be here tonight helping out, or at least giving orders to Chris. Should mention that. Gordy has a word that he likes to use, and that's called serendipity. And at 6 p.m. on June 11, 1983, the Woodman of the World as a project had the first local cable television show on. That was almost 30 years ago now, 1983. And I knew I wanted to get a voice on there that could introduce that program, that people would recognize and get their attention. And I knew that Gordy Little happened to be a Woodman, and I went to Gordy at the radio station and asked if he'd do a 1-minute introduction. So the first thing that's ever heard on local television, in the cable television in the area, was "Hello North Country, this is Gordy Little." And then in 1986, that evolved into Hometown Cable, that program. And in June of 1997, my good friend Bob Benn, who had done so many What's Going On Here shows, passed away on June 25th. On June 28th, a Saturday, it was his funeral, and I had intended to be in Plattsburgh videotaping Gordy Little Day. And instead of being at Gordy Little Day, I was at Bob's funeral. The last thing that Bob and I recorded was the introduction to the county fair. We always did a Bill Page every year. The first thing that Gordy and I did was a program at the Clinton County Fair. So just a kind of a seamless transition. So Gordy's been doing that program with us for 15 years now. But 15 years may seem like a long time, but Gordy has actually been active in the media. He celebrated his 50th year last summer. So whether it was through the radio, his newspaper column, now writing for a couple of local magazines, the television and internet through Hometown Cable, or the books he has written, or just sitting around telling ghost stories to folks, Gordy has certainly been a part of just about everyone's life in one way or another throughout the North Country. When Linda asked me who could possibly do justice to talking about Gordy, the first name that came to my mind was his good friend Keith Urkel. Keith is the head of the Battle of Plattsburgh Museum, so you know he has a great interest in old things. I thought it would be very appropriate for Keith to talk about Gordy, his good friend. Keith?
perhaps very appropriate that we talk about old history and new history in the light of what's happened over the last many, many, many years. And Linda, you were absolutely on the spot when you put him at a different table than me. Because I remember sitting at our kitchen table one night, and Kay said, "Oh my God, the two of you are just the same. You won't shut up." So it's been a history going through our relationship over the last many years, that when Gordy and I get together, whether it involves a bottle of wine or not, that we, yes, or two, and we continue to talk until the hours are just gone and one of us either falls or Kay grabs him by the ear and pulls him away. Pearl River, 1937. Gordy Little, this is your life. Not next show. Okay. His mother Alta was born in this wonderful place called Muncie in Rockland County. Is that what it's called? Oh my goodness. All right. Well, he was in and out of that Rockland County part for several years, and then he went to Westchester, and he wound up in St. Lawrence County, and finally he wound up in Franklin County, going to this place called Moira High School. Now, he was the valedictorian of Moira High School, and this was a shock to me, because it was a shock to him too, he said. And it was, you know, because Gordy is one of those people that you never know what he's going to do. At 1 minute it's one thing, and just when you figure you've got him figured out, that's not what he had in mind to begin with. Amen. Then he decided that he was going to go to college. And his parents, being the wonderful and reverent parents that they were, his father was a minister, and he started out in a wonderful church, the Nazarene, spent almost 18 years working with the Nazarene church, and then decided, much like Gordy does every now and then, he's going to change it up a little bit, and he wound up working for the Northern New York Conference of the Methodist Churches, and he was there until he retired, I believe. Is that correct? Perfect. Well, they wanted Gordy to go to Houghton College. Houghton College, the home of the Nazarene. Houghton College is over by Rochester. Beautiful, beautiful school. But it's in the middle of nowhere. You have to understand, you go to Rochester and you make a left. And it's somewhere between Rochester and Pennsylvania. And you get there by the only road in. And when you get there, there's nothing to do. You need to know that Gordy needs something to do all the time. So he had a real rough time at Houghton. He was there for about a year, and they said, Mr. Little, we don't think this is a good fit for you. Which is another way of saying retire early, friend. And Gordy didn't make it at Houghton College. He bowed out, as he said. Well, he went from there, and he started moving around. Clarkson College, wonderful school. Gordy had a bent for engineering. He wanted to go and be an engineer. Clarkson is the place to go. Engineering school. Clarkson, at that time, was in the middle of nowhere. Potsdam. Have you been to Potsdam in the winter? It has one road in. Is this deja vu? It was Houghton immortalized. So he was at Potsdam, going to school at Clarkson, and he discovered radio. Gordy and radio are this. States. He discovered radio. The name of the show was Music from an Inverted Elevator Shaft. You can ask him to explain that or try later on, but we won't go into that now. I'm sure it's much too complicated for an evening like this. Music for an inverted elevator shaft. While he was busy thinking up names for his radio show, he wasn't studying engineering. So after a very short period of time, they called him in and said, "Mr. Little, this doesn't appear to be working." So Gordy was soon packing his bags and leaving on the only road from Potsdam and going elsewhere. And he headed for Syracuse, but he made a little stop to get married. And then he went to Syracuse. When he got to Syracuse, that's the university, by the way. They have roads in and roads out all over the place there, but they didn't have any housing for people that were married, and that was a real problem, so Gordy turned the car around and came back. No room for married people. He wound up working for construction at Plattsburgh Air Force Base, at the St. Lawrence Seaway, many other places. Interstate 81, I believe, was another one that you worked on. Construction guy, can you believe it? Engineering, you made it! But then the college bug got to him again. And there was this wonderful place called the State University of New York, Long Island Center, which is on Long Island. They have roads in and they have roads out, and they have beaches and they have lots of things to do. But Gordy finally made that transition. He actually started to study. But he couldn't lose the radio thing. Just couldn't lose it. So he did more radio there. Oh, New York City, that's right over there. New York City, radio, music, The Voice. Everyone knows The Voice. You don't have to see Gordy coming, you can hear The Voice. But he sang, and he played instruments. Tuba guy, trombone, a little slide there. He graduated, but not before he did some time with the Yellow Jackets, singing in and around New York City. The Yellow Jackets. A couple clubs, a little gig here and there. But then in 1961, the North Country beckoned. We've got roads. Back then it was Route 9. But now we have Route 87, but more importantly, he had an interview with a radio station. Priceless. He couldn't pass it up. WEAD. They hired him. 3 weeks later, they said, "You know, Mr. Little, this isn't working out." He was out of a job, but not until the following morning did he walk into Wiry Radio, and they already knew about him. They knew he had something that the North Country needed. And that's when it all started, this 35-year love affair with radio and with the local community here. Interesting thing. But after a couple years, in 1970, there was a divorce. Gordy was on his own with 2 boys. He needed help. And I swear that's why Kay got with him, because he needed help. And by the way, he needs help today. Kay and her 11 children, bless you, my child. And Gordy's 2, that's 13 children. Gordy needed a hobby. The radio was the hobby. Gordy was always at the hobby, the radio station. But let me not neglect the fact that he was always there for his family. Always, always, always. Talk to any one of his children. They know what happened. They know where Gordy was. They know where Gordy is. They know where his feelings are all the time. 1960s, a wonderful thing happened for the North Country. I came. No. I was born here, but I was raised in Philadelphia. But I also came back here every summer. I had a 6-transistor radio. Oh, yeah. An airline model. Red with white and a little gold trim. And I used to listen to Gordy Little Who's He at the city beach in the bubble machine. Do you remember the bubble machine? The little Corvair bus with the fiberglass thing on the top and Gordy sweating to death inside it? Because it didn't have good ventilation. But he was my hero. He was out there calling, and I was on the beach getting a suntan, poor kid. You know, slathering up with all that stuff that we used to wear, waiting for the girls, blonde, bleached hair, and Gordy was slaving away, watching all the girls go by. But dying inside that van, what a deal that was, huh? That was an old Corvair. An old Corvair van. Well, Rollerland. Who knows about Rollerland? $1.50 to get in, all the dances you could do. Spectators welcome. But who was the DJ? Who was the master of ceremonies? Gordy Little Who's He? And Ben Everest. And who's the other guy? I don't know. But they had the Rock-a-ramas, I believe they were called. Close enough. Roll-a-ramas, Rock-a-ramas, I can't even remember what they were. And they were all throughout the week, and they went just non-stop. And they had all these wonderful local groups like the Stratatones and the Montereys and Mike and the Ravens. Mike and the Ravens. They had a wonderful hit called Phlegm in Kentucky. Don't listen to it. Trust me. But that was recorded live in September 1962 in the Wiry Studios, and who was on the other end of the microphone? Gordy Little Who's He? And it went on, and it went on. My sister was in love with Tom Latour. Tom Latour was from the Twilighters. He plays bass. Aha, my sister, there's a tie. So that was the first time that I ever met Gordy Little in concept. Never spoke to the guy. He was always in the bubble. He was always on the stage. And I was this well-tanned, bleached blonde hunk of a guy, having a good time, listening to Gordy on my little radio. I was a hit. I had a radio. I had a good time. And then I went away. Gordy was still here. On the radio every day. He became the voice of the North Country. The voice of the North Country. Bar none. Anytime you wanted to go and get anything that dealt with local news, it was Wiry. That's exactly what you said. The show was Our Town. The show was Small Talk. That's your newspaper column. But Sunday of Solid Gold, one of those favorite shows for my mother's generation, used to love to listen to everything. Gordy knew it all. The hallmark of Gordy Little is he's interested in everything. He's interested in everyone. He doesn't do an interview. It's always a conversation. No matter who you are, no matter how important or not important you may be, Gordy does not interview you. He has a conversation with you. He has a conversation with you on the radio. He has a conversation with you in person. And he always wants to know what you think. He wants to know what you do. And he appreciates everyone. Everyone. It's an amazing talent this man has. He can speak to anyone about anything seamlessly because he's been exposed to so many people. It's a wonderful thing to watch when Gordy walks into a room and starts to speak with people. He can go from table to table, and he's everybody's best friend. By the end of the evening, he knows all of you. And he will tonight. By looking at your faces, he will remember every one of your faces. I guarantee it. Well, he likes to forget mine, but that's okay. Clinton County's ambassador of goodwill in 1997. Well, in 1997, I came back to the Plattsburgh area. I was away for a while. Not in prison. But I was away for a while. And I came back to Plattsburgh, and I had the good fortune to be hired by the city of Plattsburgh. And I've been there ever since. But there's one thing that came to mind right away, and that was this incredible history that we have right underneath our feet. Not only in terms of military history, but in the buildings that we have and the people that were here. You know, we don't many times appreciate what we have in our own backyard. And that, my friends, is what Gordy was good at. So when something came up that needed to be advertised, or there was some interesting little piece of trivia, I would pick up the phone. And I would call Gordy Little Lucy. And we talked. And we developed this relationship over the telephone at first. And then I went to be interviewed by Gordy Little, and it was immediate, end of story, this is my best friend. Amazing, just amazing. We never stopped talking. The microphone went off, we were still talking. We were going down the hallway, we were still talking. He was talking when I was going out to get in my car. The man doesn't be quiet. You made a good choice, Linda. Put him in another table. It is a wonderful thing. So over the years, we've had this wonderful relationship. Whenever we get together, it's as if the conversation never stopped. The last place we left off had a comma, didn't have a period. We would just keep going. And we've done that over the years. It's been a wonderful, wonderful relationship. And all the people that he's touched in his life, after 30-some years, the radio situation, they called him and, you know, essentially he said to them, you know, Wiry, this isn't going to work out. Suddenly the shoe was on the other foot, and you need to know also that this is one of the most principled people I have ever met in my life. He will not, even to this day, tell you what's going on there. That's not what he's about. What he's about is serving his community. It's not about him. It's about you. That's his hallmark. That's what he lives for, in my estimation. And on top of that, he's my best friend, bar none. And ladies and gentlemen, Gordy Little.
Our Community Leadership Award features a quote from John Quincy Adams. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you're a leader. Gordy Little, you're a leader.
very short.
Yeah, right.
With that kind of a background, I must be a dues paid member of the Over the Hill Gang for sure. Now that I look back on it, I love that idea. This isn't going to work out. But it's true. And I've always believed that when the page turns and that chapter is finished, there's another chapter as yet unknown, ready to begin. And as Calvin said, the word is serendipity. Always waiting to see what's behind the door number 2. Number 3. I'm absolutely, totally unworthy to receive this award. But I think everyone here knows that I adore your friendship. I adore all the years I've spent in Plattsburgh, going on 51 years, as Calvin said, since I moved here in 1961, and long before the late George Bissell Sr. said, "Gordy, I don't think this is going to work out at Reed." I was ready to see what was down whatever road led to this village or any other. And in 1961, my first day on the radio on July 4th, I said to myself, this will be good for 2-3 months. Then we'll see what's going on somewhere else. Well, guess what? Clinton County in the North Country, as far as I'm concerned, is the best spot on the face of the earth. And I've stepped on a few of those spots, and believe me, I make a dent when I step on those spots. But it's been a great pleasure to be here. It is a great pleasure to meet all the people of the North Country. I've had a long and fruitful relationship with Calvin Castine and the Woodman of the World. His hometown cable program gives me an opportunity to meet new people every single week. We've averaged 1 show a week for 15 years. Do the math. Most of them are about 90 minutes long, and it's just another chance for me to learn more about who you are, and who Michael is, and who Donna is, and these guys over at this table, that's a whole nother story. This guy worked with me on the radio. What year was that?
Early 90s.
Wow, that's just so long ago. We've been talking 1937 here. It's been a good run. It's been a lot of fun, and I don't want to monopolize any more time up here at the microphone, except to say that I am truly humbled and honored to be liked by people like you. That's very, very important to me. You remember what DeRocher said about nice guys not winning ball games? We're in the 9th inning, but I think we're going to win. I thank you all so much for this great honor. I'm truly humbled to receive it. And have a wonderful evening, everybody. Thanks again.
Yes, please, drive carefully.
If you didn't hear that, Gordy says please drive carefully. Thank you everyone for coming this evening. In the center of your table, we have flags that are centerpieces. I would ask if you have a veteran at the table that you allow the veteran to take that flag. If you have more than one veteran, we have extras up here. If there is no veteran at the table, then perhaps the oldest person at the table might take it. But please make sure we have none left. We do have a few up here. It's what we do. It's part of our patriotic mission. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for all your service to all of our award recipients. And Gordy, thank you for the wonderful speech. Keith, thank you. Everyone have a safe drive home. Take care. See you next year.